Hey there, and welcome back to Get Indie Gaming and to the March edition of the top 5 best looking indie games to be found on the Kickstarter funding platform. Before we head into what's best of this month, let's take a few moments to review how the games featured in last month's episode fared in their respective campaigns. The number 5 from February, Throne of Lies, sought to raise $20,000 and successfully did so, beating that target by just over $2,000. This one's expected to launch later this March. No Mercy Forlorn Hope collected a little over $36,000 versus its target of $30,000. This opened 2 additional stretch goals, 1 an arena battle mode and also additional pet gameplay mechanics. With a demo available to play now, this one's expected to launch in the first quarter of 2018. The number 3 from last month, Hyper Sentinel, a retro-inspired arcade shoot-'em-up, was successfully funded, gaining £21,000 against a goal of $15,000. The game launches the summer of this year. Last month's runner-up, Beautiful Desolation, managed to gain $138,000 versus its target of $120,000. Now this one isn't out until the winter of 2019, which of course is a long wait by anyone's standard. Good luck to everybody involved. The number 1 from February and seeking $30,000, a new sale past this and a stretch goal at $35,000, meaning that while not guaranteeing it, the dev team behind the game will seek to bring the title to the Switch. They also said they're going to add a couple more modes, such as speedrun features, more bosses, extra player vehicles, new weapons, and much more besides. The game is expected to launch in the summer of this year. With all of February showcase games successfully reaching their funding targets, let's head straight into the best looking indie games on Kickstarter for March. This month's number 5, Little Hawk was introduced at the GDC 2017 and comes from the team at Bazillions based out of Las Vegas. Scheduled for an autumn release, Little Hawk's a 2D platformer in the stylings of the usual Mario, Rayman and Dark Castle influences. The game will initially launch on Steam with PlayStation 4 and Xbox versions to follow. Looks-wise, it's all fairly compelling, with a standard save the village and rescue the chief's daughter gameplay narrative. Sure, there's nothing particularly new here, although from a gameplay perspective, that's not particularly the point. This all looks a whole heap of good old-fashioned platforming fun, and the team are looking to raise $15,000 with the campaign wrapping up on March 31st.
Nature blessed you with a rare gift. But this royal blood comes at the price of persecution.
Commonly described as Zelda meets Harry Potter, Mages of Mystralia is a single-player action-adventure set within a fantasy world where you can craft and design your own spells. And it's this that helps set it apart from an out-and-out Zelda clone. There are 4 to acquire: a fireball, the shield, an electric melee attack, and a ground freeze. Over time you can earn various modifications for each of these spells, allowing you to potentially create millions of combinations. This according to the developer Borales Games. The devs are seeking $25,000 Canadian, and if spellcraft and adventure's your thing, Mages of Mystralia looks all set to offer something rather intriguing. Taking the number 3 position this month, we have Patou Box. Now this is rather striking and something that's quite different from the norm. Looking for an equivalent of $10,000 and with a playable demo available already, the game is an adventure fighting title for Windows, Mac and the PS Vita, inspired by the Punch-Out series. Looks-wise, the use of the monochrome handmade art style is clearly based on graphic novels and is refreshingly different, and it certainly appears to enhance the ambiance within the game. Now I really like the look of this. It's not something I'd normally get behind, although in truth I'm smitten by it. The core gameplay is naturally enough about boxing, where you face off against a selection of opponents. You're going to need to pay close attention to the visual clues to detect their next attacks and how to counter them. But there's more to this game than this. Between fights there's third-person exploration, puzzles to solve, mini-games to play and stealth elements too. All things going well, Patou Box should launch in the late 2017.
Berlin 2089. The Cold War never ended. The wall still stands. But in the end, all walls must fall. Citizens of 2017, we are faceless. We welcome you.
At this month's number 2, we have All Walls Must Fall, an asymmetric, tactics-based noir spy thriller developed by 3 Jaeger developers who worked on Spec Ops: The Line, amongst other things. The game is set within an alternate future in 2089, where the Cold War hasn't ended and the Berlin Wall still stands. Both sides have used time manipulation technology to observe and counter each other's every move. The game asks you to steer a group of secret agents through one night in the city using a combination of social stealth, time travel and combat, all wrapped up within a pausable and procedural real-time game engine. Some questions do remain over how the time manipulation and the social stealth will play out, although based on the available footage and the game demo which is available now, All Walls Must Fall looks rather compelling. The campaign seeking a modest €15,000, although that's not expected to fund the development of the game. Much of that work's already been done, and the money raised here will be used to fund an alpha set for May, with a launch on the PC expected later this year. Taking the number 1 slot for March, we have Pine from the Dutch team at Twirlbound. Inspired by the adventures of Link in Zelda, the dance-like combat of Bloodborne and Fable's system of dynamic progression, Pine on the face of things looks an enormously ambitious open-world offering. You play as Hugh, an adolescent belonging to one of the last human tribes on the island of Albamere as they fight for the survival of their species. Central to Pine is the notion that the game evolves and adopts to not only the player, but to the world around you. This is done by using neural network AI systems, and the game purportedly attempts to recognize the player's style and adapt the species of the world accordingly. This means defensive players will be opposed by more aggressive species, energetic players will see the faster enemies turn up to try and keep up. Likewise, players adopting a stealthy approach to the game will come across species with more developed senses, such as better ears to hear you approaching. The notion of evolution adaptation is said to extend across the gaming environment based on knowledge plugged into the title from evolutionary and ecology theory. The island species are said to be able to change and evolve on their own without the player's input. They will adapt to their environment, fight each other, and do whatever they can do in order to survive. The Kickstarter campaign is looking to raise a cool €100,000 with the aim of launching the title across PCs at some point in 2018. The dev team are saying that consoles are on the radar, although the time when this will happen is as of yet unknown. I think we can all agree that with the early doors video footage together with the stated gameplay mechanics, with Pine we could be looking at something rather special. So, with Pine wrapping things up for this edition of the best looking games on Kickstarter for March, we're just about out of time for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if so, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button and perhaps even subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Before I go, was there anything from Kickstarter that you think should have been shown in today's video? Starfield Inc. perhaps? That was one thing I did look at but decided to shy away from it. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Anyways, Thanks once again for popping by Get Indie Gaming, and please come back soon for more videos.